So Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Shout out to Price of Reason, who tipped me off to this. He did an excellent video. I did include it here in this article. He had some really good commentary as well on this. But Harrison Ford admits Indiana Jones is, quote, not so strong, not so brave, not so attentive in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Who does that sound like? That sounds like... Who does that sound like, Josh?
It kind of sounds like Han Solo in the sequel trilogy as well. So it's basically the same character he's going to play for the same reason, to pass on the torch to the Guild Boss character that they're introducing. They're trying to.
So I don't think he's going to be. I don't think they're going to be passing on the torch. They've actually made a number of statements saying that that's not going to happen, and I think that is because there was intense backlash from the leaks from Overlord DVD, and then it hit Daily Mail. And I think that's some of the things that they reshot, and that's not being passed down anymore. And I think now it's just like, we're killing him, and we're going to kill him to demoralize you.
Yeah. It's probably it's funny though, because when I was sharing that story on social media, I was like, Harrison Ford, a bit late, literally, I just rewrote the headline. And I was like, Harrison Ford admits Indiana Jones is not Indiana Jones in the next movie. So,
yeah,
this is literally what
exactly.
he said.
He's not right. Yeah,
and it's going to be awful. We see in the reviews.
It's just, how can you even say this? Being like he's no longer brave anymore. Well, age doesn't affect whether or not you're brave. You can still be brave and be 80 plus, and still choose the right thing to do. That is being brave, is making that decision to choose the right thing, and stand up and fight for that thing rather than run away and hide, which would be a coward, or not even engage in the fight. As far as strength, there's different kinds of strength. Obviously, he's older. He might not be as physically strong, but hopefully he's grown stronger in different ways. What is interesting is Harrison Ford says that he has not grown wiser. He's gotten older, but he's not wiser. So like, what? How is he not like grown wiser? He literally is the one who he showed his wisdom in Holy Grail, where he knows that the Grail is the wooden one. It's not the other ones. He shows that wisdom there. So why would he have not grown wiser? Like, what is going on there? So that seems just really weird to me, because we have seen some character growth from Indiana Jones previously, where he does learn from his mistakes and grows from them. And then as far as like not being attentive, that I don't know. That one's okay, because I feel like that's just kind of part of his personality. He's always kind of been like he's maybe a little bit not paying attention to all the details, but at the same time, he's the one, like in Raiders of the Lost Ark, he's the one that figures out where to find the actual room and everything like that. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not surprising. We know that. Here's the thing that is kind of scary, is that we know what they wanted to do with Indiana Jones from the very beginning. They started this project, and there was a lot of things that they were forced to pull back on because it got such negative reactions in their own, what was it, the test screenings got such negative reactions. What they originally wanted to do, they basically had no choice but to pull the other way forward, because then you're looking at eating a loss of what, $300 million for another film. And it's like, how many major films is Disney going to release now in the last few years that are going to lose more than 9 figures each time out? So they call the writing on the wall and try to shift gears here, but it's like you're starting to realize that at the end of the day, this is a movie that never needed to exist in the first place. Like I said, Harrison Ford is 82 years old. I believe he turns 83 this year, if I'm not mistaken. And then you initially tried to insert this Phoebe Waller as kind of like, the next big thing in this universe, and that clearly didn't work, because apparently people didn't like her the most from what I've heard from the test screenings here. So basically, by halfway into this,
we released this clip. Let's see if we can. Let's pull up this clip here of her, and she's just annoying. She's like a nag.
Yeah. There's a shocker.
They've got it here. Let's see if we can pull it up here.
And keep in mind, this is the same woman, if you recall, a couple of years ago, they brought in to quote unquote touch up the script for the last James Bond movie that came out a few years ago. So
where they killed James Bond.
Yeah.
Here we go. I think this is it here. Yeah, this is it here. Let me send it to Spencer or Cider.
Was she involved in Solo too?
She was the robot. She played the annoying, cringe, love interest robot.
I meant like as like a writer or something like that.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure she probably had some kind of influence on that. She did indeed actually like she played an actor. She played a character. She played the character that is the reason why they describe Lando as pansexual, because he's into the robot.
And then here's the elephant in the room with this whole story. And it's not just Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones. It's how does Kathleen Kennedy still have a job at this point? Like I've said over the last couple of weeks now as a joke, she has to have like Polaroids of somebody in a safe somewhere. That's the only reason why she still has a job. Like not a single project she has done for either Star Wars or Lucasfilm in general since she's been in charge has gone swimmingly at all. It's like she's had severe infighting with the Disney sequels, and those was terrible. They had to reshoot like half of Rogue One.
She has like almost all, like most of the directors that she contracts with, either their projects never come to fruition or they're replaced.
Like half of Rogue One had to be completely reshot to the point where that first trailer had nothing to do with the actual movie itself. You had the fiasco with Solo
was redone with Ron Howard being brought in.
Yeah, because the directors left because they couldn't handle her creative suggestions, whatever the case was. Like I said, the Disney Plus shows are an absolute mess. And then here you have Indiana Jones, and you have to reshoot a whole bunch of this as well, because it's like, how can somebody this incompetent continue to keep going after all these? This is years now of
6 months after Willow had its season finale, it's being pulled from Disney Plus because it wasn't bringing in any subscribers, and it was literally just sitting there costing them money because no one was watching it.
It's like, how do you fail this bad and continue? Like it defies logical sense, which is why I say something more nefarious has to be going on behind the scenes. Like there has to be some kind of blackmail going on, some kind of impropriety, because there's no way she's still in charge based on her merit. There's absolutely no shot she's still there based on her merit.
Yeah, if you looked at her merit, she should have been fired after The Last Jedi. If you wanted to wait till finish the trilogy, she should have been gone after The Rise of Skywalker. Clearly, after Solo, she should have been gone. I mean, Star Wars should never lose money at the box office. There is absolutely no way a Star Wars film should lose money at the box office. And if you do that, you should be walked out the door. And yes, so clearly there's something going on. She also has way too much pull, seemingly, at what Disney does with their Star Wars stuff. We had a guy, an Imagineer, literally said that Kennedy was the one who gave the call to make sure that the entire Walt Disney World Star Wars land and Disneyland as well was done with the sequel trilogies in mind instead of the original trilogies. Yeah. So she clearly has a lot of pull there too,
and that's been a failure now.
Disaster too.
And then if you look at it in the future, what she's announced, what they've announced for Star Wars in the future is just doubling down on the same stuff that already didn't work. So there's nothing to look forward to in the future or her in charge. So it's like, who does she have dirt on that she's still in charge at this point? She has to have dirt on somebody. Is it Bob Iger? Is it Bob Chapek? Is it some other executives at Disney or Lucasfilm?
Bob Chapek's gone, so I don't know. I mean, I really don't know, but there's something else to this mystery. None of it really adds up. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that she's married to Frank Marshall, and maybe he has some kind of sway. Maybe Spielberg might be doing something to protect her in some way as well. Who knows? But clearly, she should have been perp walked a long time ago.